Okay, our parts have all been Cerakoted. There's all the little pins and everything. We also Cerakoted those. They're hanging on a rack above me. And now we're going to go ahead and start putting it together. We're going to go ahead and start with our slide. And I'm going to go ahead and start by inserting my front sight. Now when I do sights, I put a little bit of lube on them so that as inserting it just makes it a little bit easier. And then also it'll help for if they ever need to be pressed out again, it'll help them come back out. Okay, we're going to go ahead and drop in our front sight. To do so, you need to put your firing pin safety piece in there first. Okay, now as I get close to the spring for that firing pin safety, I'm going to use a small punch and I'm going to press it down underneath the safety. Now I am purposely putting on the sight from this direction, so that way the spring, if it's going to move as the sight's being pressed on there anymore, it's going to just move and then hit against the where it's milled out, just on the side there. Versus you going in the other way, there's a lot more room for that spring to kind of go over and fall over and then not have the correct amount of tension that it needs underneath the sight. Okay, now the spring is underneath my sight. I'm going to go ahead and keep pressing it on there. Okay, now let's go ahead and insert our firing pin. We're going to have to push down our firing pin safety. Go in there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and insert our backing plate. Now remember which direction that came out, you need to insert it that same direction, okay? Now you may need to hammer on here. I try not to hammer on the very bottom, but you're probably going to need to hammer on it just a little bit to get it to go all the way in there. It's because they're made to be tight. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just tap that down into place. I'm going to use a brass punch.
So you want to look at that pistol and see if I need to reset.
Yep, okay. So it only took a few good taps. The brass punch really worked nice. And there we go. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and insert our extractor. And insert the spring first. Okay. Then you have your plunger. Okay, now your extractor. Okay. Might be a little bit hard to press it in there, but you just watched me do it, so that means you could definitely do it if I did. In case anyone's wondering why their gun's so dry, this is called lube. Use it. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and insert our barrel. Okay, and our recoil spring. Okay. Now our slide's complete. Okay, so now on the frame, what we're going to start off doing is putting in these rails up front. Go ahead and insert both your rails. I've got my rail on the left, not quite in place yet, so that way this piece can squeeze in. Okay, it's all in there now. Oakley dokley then, now we're going to go ahead and start putting in our trigger assembly and everything. Zoom the camera out just a tad. Okay. Trigger and the trigger bar and everything goes in first. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and insert the spring in there. Okay, and now our slide release. Okay. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and insert our pin that holds the whole trigger assembly all together. Okay, so now you may have to slightly spread your frame apart just a little bit to where you can get this piece back inside. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and put in our rear rails. Okay, both in there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put in our firing control group. Make sure none of these pieces come out of place. Okay, that's where they should be. You have to get the trigger bar to go into this area here, into your firing control group, which may be a pain in the butt, but that's how it goes. Try it with it cocked back. Okay, well, the cocked back seemed to have worked easiest for me. Maybe when you get the opportunity, go ahead and decock it, take that extra tension off of there, so that way it's easier for you to slide your pin into. Okay. It looks like I pretty well got it. I'm going to have to slide those little parts around inside the hole to line everything up before I put that pin in, but it's in there. Okay, I'm going to use a pick tool to go ahead and line this stuff up to get my pin in there. Okay. Okay, now that pin's back in place. Okay, now remember this piece that goes on the other side, because we coated this, I had to pull this little keeper out of there. It's a little spring system that holds it on to the other side. So make sure that that's back in place. Now, of course, if you didn't take that out of there to begin with, you probably don't need to check it. But it should just snap on there like I just did it. So, okay. Okay, now that you've reinstalled this pin, your firing control's in there, everything's all hooked up, go ahead and just try everything out. Okay, go ahead and try the decocker. Yep, okay, looks like everything seems to be working. Safety, nothing's happening, that's good. Okay, so your mag release inserts from either side. Go ahead and set it in there. Let it rest somewhere in the middle. Okay, let it sit somewhere in the middle. Go ahead and get your spring out. Okay, insert your spring. Which may be a little hard, but insert your spring into the little kind of guided area which it slides out of, slides into, and whatnot. Now you're probably going to need something to help you push that spring down into place. I'm just using a small punch. Okay, insert your spring all the way. Okay, seems like it's working. I don't have a mag for this to put it in here. The customer didn't leave us the mag for it. So, I'm just going to assume that I put it back in there right. Alright, let's go ahead and put our takedown pin, lever. I guess you kind of use it like a lever. Now remember, the spring is kind of what helps keep that pin in there. So you got to push that spring down out of the way before you slide this in there. Okay. Now remember, you don't want to do it with that up. It won't work. You got to do it with that down before you slide it all the way into place. Now I'm going to go ahead and the spring is not in place right now, so I'm holding it in there. I'm going to move around the spring and get it to line up and hold that pin in there. Okay. Now the pin isn't coming out, and it flips like it's supposed to. Okay, now we'll go ahead and slide this on here. I oiled it up, so that way for the next person who has to pull it off there, it won't be so hard. It wasn't even really that hard for me in the first place, but since our company's name is basically a part of this gun, having been Cerakoted by us, I would like to have our work look exceptional to whoever may be getting this gun after the customer has had it. Alright, and that completes the frames assembly. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put our slide on top of our frame. Go ahead and slide it in there, tuck it back, lever forward. Okay, everything seems to work. We must have put it back together correctly, so that's good. Good news on my behalf. Alright, well, I hope you found that video useful. The firearm is all put back together and all functional. Everything seems to have worked really well. You can see we've got a little bit of some stencil work up here on top. I'm sure the customer is going to be real happy with it. So I'm going to go ahead and leave a few links in the description, help you get a hold of us, check out our Facebook page, and maybe if you have any questions or anything, I'll leave just a few links in there that might help you get a hold of any of us. So please subscribe. Thanks for watching.